You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
A new edition of Reflections where I am your host today, Shirley Hood. You would not believe how excited I am to tell y'all. Excited. Guess what? We have an hour slot, y'all. Yes, we have an hour slot. We went from 30 minutes to 1 hour. Why? Because we thought about you. We heard your concerns. We heard your comments. And you said, we need more of Reflections TV. So guess what we did? We took upon the initiative and we got a new hour slot just so that we can bring the good news of Jesus Christ. You will not believe today who I have on my show. Yes, you will not believe I have dynamic duo. The Coopers. Yes, the Coopers is here on this hour slot. And listen, y'all, we're going to just sit back. We're going to talk to them. They are doing great things. We're excited what God is about to do for them. Listen, if you are in need of some type of inspiration, we all need some type of inspiration, whether if you are single or married, these are the people you want to go to. But before we go into them, as of right now, we just want to say thank you for watching Reflections TV. Reflections TV has been on over 5 years. You wouldn't believe it's been 5 years we've been on air, and now we are starting to take more serious in what you are all wanting. Listen, we want to be able to bring you the good news of Jesus Christ. We want to be able to bring in those who know about him and can tell you how you can surrender yourself to him. This is what Reflections TV is all about. Reflections TV is all about you. It's about the purpose that God has created in us so that we can fulfill the gospel of Jesus Christ. We are so anticipated of what God is about to do. Listen, Reflections TV, let me give y'all just a hint. We are going to have a podcast. Would you believe a podcast is in the works? Yes, it is. So we're going to have a podcast, and God is about to expand. Yes, about to expand this ministry as he's going to do for everyone behind the scenes. So we are anticipating what God is about to do. Listen, let me give you the show times so that you can know when they come on. You can also visit our Reflections TV page on Facebook. All you got to do is type Reflections TV and you'll get to see the advertisement of our times. Our times is as follows. Tuesdays, yes, starting next Tuesday, the show we air from 5 to 6 p.m. on our local station. That's right, 5 to 6 p.m. on our local station. And then we have Saturdays at 3 p.m. Yes, locally, you can watch it on Saturdays at 3 p.m. And last, statewide, y'all. Statewide on Friday at 9 a.m. That's our new time slot. We are so anticipating what is about to come. We haven't finished the new year as of yet. But I know that God is about to do something for each and every one of us. Well, without any further ado, we are going to introduce this great couple that I have known for so many years. I've known them, oh my God, like years. So we go way back, but I'm so happy today that I have them on air, and we're going to just sit and talk about what God is doing in their marriage. this is something that we are going to anticipate of what's going to happen for the both of them. They have what you call a new book, y'all. A new book. Yes, new book called Love is Worth the Work. And Love is Worth the Work is because it is a book that is a 30-day challenge designed to demonstrate love and care for your spouse and self. They're going to talk about it on today on this new episode of Reflection. Let's welcome on this new episode Ed and Angel Cooper. Angel and Cooper, thank you so much for being on our show on today.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
You don't know how this is amazing to see great couple like you out there giving people, relationships, couples, singles, the opportunity to have a relationship, not with just within each other, but for self, because we all need that. And it's amazing that you all can do that and how God has designed that for the both of you. And so we're excited to have you on today. So we're going to we're just going to talk. Well, let's just talk.
Let's talk.
Yes. Now, you know that we went way back.
Yes.
We go way back. Like so many, years?
Many years. I mean, from your mom, from your grandparents to our, we go back. Your grandparents, my father, mother, your father and mother. And it's just, there's a history there.
Yes, it's just amazing history. I had this conversation with my son that I shared with you. And he was like, Mom, did you know her this long? Absolutely, y'all. We'd known each other when we was kids. And we grew up in the ministry. And I got to saw just the blueprint of your life and how it came into your life and how you two became one. I mean, this is amazing, y'all. This couple is absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
And I'm so happy that I know the both of you.
Thank you.
Oh, my
Thank you.
goodness.
Thank you.
Not only they can sing, y'all, but they know how to carry a marriage. Yes. So we're going to talk today.
Okay.
Great.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure that our viewers would like to know, like, how do we keep relationship together? How do we keep a marriage together? So because we know that it is worth the work.
It really
Yes, it is.
It's worth every prayer, every discussion, every tear. If you're willing to put in the work to get it done, it can be done with both parties willing to put in that work, though.
Right.
It can't be just one person doing all of the work. It has to be a combined effort.
Yes.
And that's what happened. We became very transparent with each other and was vulnerable to the process and understanding that, I had a good role model. My mother and father were married until my dad passed away at 43 years of marriage. And even still with having them as a role model, I still, had our bumps. We had our roadblocks.
There's always, I know, huh? We had our roadblocks. We had our, our twists, our turns, our high peaks, our low peaks. But, through it all, just the fact that we worked at it. And that's when you really have to put in work. If you want something, you have to work for it. And the satisfaction of knowing that I've worked for it and now I've made it this far can't be duplicated. It's just something that it's amazing.
So what made you guys, what inspired y'all to write this book? What inspired you?
Well, I would say, after over 25 years of being married, just a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, we encountered a very traumatic situation without, giving all of details to the specifics of the event. Ed is a now retired officer, and I'm retired from the school district. But a few years back, in our neighborhood, we encountered a really traumatic situation. And it shook the very core and foundation of our relationship.
Yes, it has.
And I mean, to the point where we, we were strong, but when you get hit like that, it can be abrupt.
Right.
And it shook our truth in where we were.
Yes.
And we ended up going to therapy and discussing these things, and not just he and I. It was a family effort.
It was a family effort. I could have put my dog in therapy if I wanted. It was a family effort, because that's something we're real good advocates for.
Yeah.
Listen, don't think that you can just handle everything.
Right.
Because you can't.
Yes.
You have to get someone who's on the outside looking in,
Yes.
who can be able to, all right, listen, I see what's going on here. Yes. I can help you.
Yes.
I can help you do this. Because we always try to self-medicate, we'll call it, or go to the goo-goo doctor.
Yes.
But, listen, you have to really get professional help, and we're strong advocates of that because it can help you out tremendously.
And so from there, we, went on this journey to reconnect, to find where we needed, where we were missing that link, that connection.
Yes.
And what happened from there, we came to a good place.
Yes.
But we recognized that there were many couples that endured. It may not have been the same or the similar situation, but they were enduring a problem, a situation, an issue, and a circumstance in their relationship. And we realized, you know what? People aren't talking about it. We're from the church, and a lot of the times we tell members in the congregation, pray about it, seek God, and that is true.
Right.
Seeking His face He'll give you a revelation, but He'll also provide resources for us. And so from there, we were having conversations with couples, and then they were like, well, how did you manage? You have 3 children, you have 2 in college, 1 in high school. And we were like, okay, let's go online and share something with Facebook. So we created what they called the Cooper Chronicles.
Yes.
We just was talking online, talking and inspiring couples. And from there, people were like, oh, do you have this in writing? And we were like,
no, but we will.
and so that's where we came up with the idea for, Love is Worth the Work.
It's so funny you said that because, majority of the time when you mention about the church, we need to be more transparent in helping singles as well as couples because, some of us are suffering in silence. There could be a married couple coming into the church and they may be smiling, but they may had a fight before they walked in that door.
Right.
So we never know what's going on with, these people. So, and then you mentioned about therapy. It's nothing wrong with therapy.
Nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong.
I
encourage it.
I think that people think it's a stigma, especially within our community, think it's a stigma. But no, listen, there are people out there that can help you to get you back on track.
Yes.
It's just like, you're adjusting your life, but it's able to get you back on track to where, we can move ahead, you can move ahead. Because listen, there's life beyond the hurt and the pain.
Yes.
Yes,
it is. It is. It really is.
And you have to be vulnerable to the process.
Yes.
I believe that oftentimes we realize that, okay, when we want to get married, and those, like you mentioned, we have an audience of just, it's married viewers, we have single viewers, and those that are
the demographics is
interested in getting married and maybe dating. So we provide, just what we've experienced. We haven't been married all of our lives, but we know some of the things, and we have friends that are single and they come to us. And so understanding what that may look like, being vulnerable to that process, getting a journal, writing down some of the things what you're looking for, what you don't want, what you experience, and what you're like, okay, I know what that feels like, and maybe I'll go in this direction. I believe that's where our heart came and put into words what Love is Worth the Work is all about.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to get myself to do is to journal. To express those feelings that we all have going on the inside. Because if we're not able to express it in a sense, I think what happens is when we express our feelings to certain people, certain type of people, where we're kind of like, oh, I don't know, maybe I said too much. But then when we journal and we get it out, we're releasing what's going on with us. And so that's really most important that we need to do for self.
Yeah.
self.
That's exactly where that comes. You have to be honest with yourself. One of the things we talk about in the book is being authentically you. You
Yes.
have to be
Yes.
transparent and don't
Yes.
pretend. Why be imitation to you and who you are?
Yes.
Being clear, concise with that individual, with yourself, then
Yes.
another person can't come along and cloud you and present something that's fake or
Right,
fickle.
right.
And so one
I'm
of
about
the
to say something about that too. You took
because
my words. Fake and fickle.
but it's true. We discussed that because it's so important that we become real and,
Yes.
and understand
Oh my
that
God.
if you're real, then God can use you at best to help someone, if even just yourself and your children, and then maybe someone will see that and get encouraged.
But I think one thing that we have to realize is that sometimes it's hard for a man to be real and to expose himself out there like that. You know, they feel that, you know, as a man, we have to remain strong. We got to be like, you know, we got to be in
Yes.
power and all that. No,
Yes.
sometimes you have to be vulnerable,
Yes.
especially if you're in a relationship to your spouse. You have to be vulnerable.
Yes.
You know, it's okay to be vulnerable.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, because how are you going to get to know someone truly when you really want to see the insides of how they really are?
Wow.
Because you never know what the backstory may be, or there may have been something like, even though you start a relationship, there may have been something that happened years ago,
Right.
where you know, wow, this is what's really affecting
Right.
him.
Right.
I never known that.
Right.
Now you know, because you know why? He opened himself up. He became
Yes.
vulnerable.
Yes.
And we are vulnerable. It's a lot easier to understand each other.
Yes. Why is it so hard? Because you mentioned the vulnerability of a man to express. Why is it so hard for men to express, especially to their women? Why is that hard?
Some men would think of it as a weakness. They think that they're being weak.
Yes.
Like, or, you know, in peer pressure, because, you know, there's a certain sort of, well, a style, like, not a style, but a perception that people think men ought to be in public. You know,
Yes.
you have to be strong, you have to be, you know, like, able to handle any situation that come your way, which is true.
Right.
But also you have to realize that, you know, wait a minute, there's something else that I can do, because, you know, why am I being like this? You can't be rigid.
Right.
That's a
Right.
good word. You cannot be rigid.
Yes.
You know, I worked in a profession where I was rigid.
Right.
And my wife will tell you, there's time I come home, I have to sit down like an hour so I can like decompress.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can
Right.
get back to Ed.
Right.
You know, not Mr. Officer.
And how was that for you when you noticed he would come through, and when he come home after a long day, hard work, and you see him like in that position, knowing that you want to say, "Hey, hon, how's it going?" How did you work that into the relationship?
You know, it's interesting when he did the academies. One of the things they discuss going through the academies to your spouses, to the girlfriends, is that those are some of the things to experience or to expect.
Yes.
Wait, if they're working a full day or
Yes.
a 12-hour day or whatever it may be, that they need to, you know, kind of pull off or take down what they experienced throughout the day, whether
Yes,
it's
yes.
A major car accident,
Yes,
whether they had to
yes.
lock somebody up
Yes.
because someone either abused a child. I mean,
Yes.
there were so many different dynamics. So they really prepared us, but
Yes.
not so much where you're told that.
Yes.
It's like being, you know, you say it, but it's different to experience it or do it.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, there were times where I realized I could see on his face,
Right.
his countenance, that I'm like, oh, I just want to be able to go in and rescue him
Yes,
from that.
yes.
But then he had to work his way through that.
Yes,
But then when it was time, I was like, hey, do you want to, you want to talk about your day, or,
Yes.
and not push, but
Right.
know when to. That's a unique place also,
Yes,
whether or
yes.
not your husband is in, law enforcement or
Yes.
just whatever profession, knowing how to come in and out of that conversation, knowing
Yes.
when to
Yes.
press in, knowing to
Yes.
back up, knowing
Yes.
to like give him his space.
Yes.
Because I think it's important that we all have that space, but understanding you can't keep the distant and then, trying to make things work. You got to know when it's time to come in now. It's like Ed said, it's time to be vulnerable. It's
Yes.
time to,
Yes.
Right.
open up.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we were taught that, but to go through the experience, it was a different dynamic.
Yes.
But it's hard for a man to be. It's hard, man. Especially, you come home, and I remember a young lady said to me, she said, you know what, you have no emotion. She said that to me. I said, really, I can't show emotion in my job. I can't show because I don't want people to see they take my emotions for being like, oh, okay, like I can get over on him, or he's on my side, or he's on their side. So I stay neutral. I'm just like, this is just the way I am. So, and then you have to come back home and like.
And so it must have took some time for you, because you, like you said, you had to be on your job and you had to be like this person, this officer, you're working for the people, and then you come home to your wife, and now you got to channel yourself.
I mean, and he had to master that, but it was difficult, and I think that's where, when that traumatic situation hit our lives, we had to either fight or flight. Either get in the fight and make this relationship work, take care of our children and our responsibilities, and if we're going to stay and remain married, we have to be committed to this process. And so we were like, we got to work through this. We got to work through, and we were like, okay, love is worth the work. And then we would make that statement, and it would resonate within, because we realized that we did love one another, even though, okay, is he willing to open up right now? I need to talk about it, but he's not. And I'm like, okay, how do we get that combination? And through prayer, and through much fasting, and through much prayer, and through much fasting.
Because it does take a whole lot of prayer.
It really does. And like, we just since retired. So we put in the work. And I think with anything, you get up in the morning, you have a profession, whether it's getting your children ready as a single parent, head of household, or if you're going and you're a professional mother, or just you're working. We have to realize, if we want to be in a relationship, even with ourselves, it takes work.
It takes work.
And you got to be willing to put in work.
And I think that's what happens with most couples, is that they don't work in the process of building this relationship. Because as I was studying, it says statistics shows on the average, marriages last between 1 to 10 years. 1 to 10 years, y'all. 1 to 10. That's not a long time. That's not a long time. And it also shows almost 50% of all marriages in the United States will end in divorce or separation. And these are couples who have been married for the first time. First time. So let me ask you this. How do you both make this work? What are the keys, or what are the benefits to make this marriage work?
Well, I think one of the benefits is you put your, number one, you have to put work in. You have to see your spouse or your mate for who they really are. And when you're in love, you'll do everything you can to make sure that this relationship works. As men, we do that before, like when we're courting. My grandmother would say that. As we're courting the
That's what they said back in the day, courting.
As we're courting the ladies, we do everything. We'll go get flowers. We'll get candy. Valentine's Day, they getting loaded up. But then when you get in a relationship and then it seems like that stop. No, you got to keep that. You got to keep it going. And that's where the work comes in. But also you can make the work fun.
That's right.
You have to make it fun, and you gotta have a good sense of humor. Oh, another important thing is, if you are in a relationship and say you've been married for like 5 years, do not seek advice from someone who's been married for like a year.
Thank you.
Because they're going to give you what their perception may be. No, I think you should do this.
Thank you.
When it's not really for you. Look for someone who may be seasoned a little bit further. So someone who's gone through something, so that you can say, wow, all right, if they did that, you know what, I can go through that. Now I have a blueprint of what I need to do. And with the steps I can follow. It may not be the exact same steps, but you make your own path. And then that's how it works.
And it's so funny, because when you were talking about earlier about your parents being married, those many years. I look at my parents, and before they both passed, they were married like 47 years.
Oh, wow. Right.
And so, did they had to go through a lot? Yes. Did they had to go through trials and tribulations? Yes.
Right.
But what they did was, although there was breathing room, because they had to have a breathing room. And then they was able to, I remember the story my mom often had said, she said, the Lord said to me, I gotta take him back. Wow. Because if I don't, he's gonna die out there. although it was really hard for her, but she did, and she made the marriage work. They both made it work.
Yeah.
And so I lived by that example. I lived and I saw how my mother catered and took care of him, made sure dinner was on the table when he came home from work. And they made it work to the point where in the morning when I get up, I can hear them in the room praying, like literally praying.
Yeah.
Because I knew that they was fighting.
Yeah.
And it's worth the fight.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
worth the fight, because if God has designed you
Yeah.
and him to be together, that's your mate forever. That's your partner forever. And I always encourage a lot of young couples, you know, and to say, listen, it's not that bad. Stay in it. Stay in the fight. But no, stay in the fight. Just stay in the fight. God has designed you and him together.
Right.
And we have to be an encouragement to each other.
Yeah.
And this is what you guys provide.
Thank you. I think it's interesting you mentioned about the statistics. Oftentimes, some of that, one or two things jump out at me when I hear that is that some people just want to get married because they want the glamour of the day.
Yes.
They like the dress, they like the actual reception. But then after they're in it, the first sign of trouble, they're ready to run.
Yes.
And that's pretty much where this book is coming from. Love is worth the work.
Yes.
You got to work at some things, right? So now we got a great pension, but I had to work 25 years to get that.
Right.
You have to work.
Right.
27 years.
Right, and 27 years, and so there's work that's involved. And I think the other misconception is you need to know when it's kind of fading out. You know, there's a chapter we talk about keep it SP, keep it spicy, special, and spontaneous.
Yes.
You know, you gotta add some flavor to that.
Add some flavor to that relationship.
But also, you know, we're not endorsing someone to be in an abusive relationship. We're not saying that. We're also understanding, know your worth, understand your value, pray and seek God for direction. And if when you get to that place where you're about to have, you know, therapy, and you know, you just got one person going and the other one's not. There might be a sign you might need to say, all right, Lord, help me to see, you know, where do I go from here? And that's really the foundation, working through the process, whatever that may look like. But we're here to say 27 years, you know, is because we recognize we didn't run at the first sign of danger. We sought God. And realized, you know, that we didn't have to be.
When you hit bottom, then that's when your true testament of if your love can really last. Because, you know, when you hit that, and then when you see the pain that your family's going through, and then you say, all right, now that's when it's like, especially like for a man part, become a man. All right, I got a responsibility here. We're gonna make sure I'm gonna make this work. And I'm gonna take care of this family. So and then it should be it kicks in automatically.
And then we have to kind of recognize the enemy where he's coming through, and because he's not for marriages, God designed it.
Right. Exactly.
And so, you know, what the devil would meant for evil, God will always turn it around for our good. And we have to know that God is working this thing out on your behalf. And that's what most couples, some couples, I would say, fail in that area because they don't recognize the enemy. You know, and we don't want the enemy to be in that bedroom, in that same bed. It's supposed to be you and that mate. And God. Because that's what makes it work.
You know, it's some of the things that we talked on the Chronicles is when you, before you even get married, well, are we praying about who we're marrying? Like, you know, are we saying, God, is this my purpose? Because when you're in that fight, like as we were, we understood that was our purpose, right? Was it for preference, you know, because of where the status? No, but then you'll recognize that there is it's worth that fight, right? It's worth that love that you have for your husband or for your wife. You don't mind fighting because you know there was a purpose, that God put you together, that you all were meant to be. And opposition in any area, in any time, anywhere you go, there will be opposition.
Most definitely.
But are you willing to say, hey, you know, I'm gonna stick it out. Like, you know, I ended up getting, through certain things, but is it because I ran away from it? No,
Right.
it's because I decided to.
There you go.
To stick it out, to stick it out. Now, let's talk about singles.
Yes.
Because you know me, I'm a single woman.
It's all good.
Yes, it's all good for me, But let's talk about singles. I know the question about singles, they are, they have to kind of, work into a relationship. But let's talk about them for a second.
Yeah.
So you say that single people should understand that life is still great, regardless of their single status.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
In whatever, I think Paul said it in the Bible, in whatever state you're in, be content where you
Yes,
are.
yes.
Sometimes we get anxious, and the Bible
Yes.
also talks about us be anxious for nothing.
Yes.
I think where we are in life, that's where God wanted us to be.
Yes.
Now, when we understand that, that's when He could take us from glory to glory,
Yes.
from this point A to point B.
Yes.
And there's a day in the book we talk about embracing
Your place.
where you are, embracing your place.
Yes.
And understanding that don't underestimate who you are.
Yes.
Just because it didn't work out.
Yes.
Maybe
Yes.
he wasn't, maybe she wasn't the one.
Yes.
And I thought it was
Yes.
gonna be.
Yes.
We question as single
Right.
viewers, and I have a lot of friends and family members that are single, and in that status, they question themselves, and they could be on there, they're blazing the trail,
Yes.
professionals.
Yes.
But yet that perfect man or woman hasn't yet showed up.
Right.
We tell them to don't underestimate your value.
Right. Know your value. Know your worth.
That's
Yes.
another day in the book.
Sometimes I'm sorry, but sometimes we seem to diminish the value that we have.
Yes.
Yeah.
We think that we're not worthy of what's before us, or we feel as though we're not enough for someone, or to be in a relationship. Listen, you got to love yourself first.
Yes,
When you
that's
love
true.
your then
That's
it's,
so true.
when you love yourself, number one, it's going to build a character in you.
Yes.
Also, it's going to give you, your really the fondness of what you're really doing, because you're going to say, like, you know what? Wow, I love myself. So if I got all this love for myself, I know there's somebody out there that
Right.
who's going to share this with
Right.
me.
That's
And I
good.
know that person is going to be, because you know what? There's going to be compatibility. It's
Yes.
going to connect.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you have to love yourself.
Yeah.
Men too.
Yes.
Love yourself,
Love
man.
yourself.
Don't
Love
just
yourself.
burn yourself out. I was burning myself out.
Right.
But don't just burn yourself out.
Right.
Love somebody.
Yes.
Love yourself, and then watch what happens.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and that's
Yeah.
what I wanted, the singles to know, that they don't have to rush into the first person they see.
Yeah.
Especially we have to be a testament to these young women, who are coming up, and you have young daughters, and
Yes.
I'm sure you may be having these conversations with them. And,
Oh, yeah.
and,
Oh yeah.
you have daughters, and they're beautiful daughters, mind you, and they ask those questions. I didn't get those questions yet. I mean, my son is still young, but
Right.
whew, okay.
It's all
but
the time.
the thing is that they're coming out, and
Yeah.
they're gonna see. They're gonna be exposed to a lot of people, and they're
Yeah.
gonna be exposed to a lot of relationships they see.
Yeah.
And so, how do you explain to a single person not to jump into the first person they want to be with?
Yeah.
Like, how do you say, listen, do self-growth?
Yes.
Prepare yourself.
Yeah.
What do you say to them?
Right.
You have to have a standard. You have to set a standard
Yes.
of what you want, or and they have to see the standard within you.
Yes.
Yeah.
If all they see is mommy or daddy out there doing their thing,
Yes.
and everybody, Sister Cucumber, tomato,
Yes,
everybody else coming in
yes.
the house, that's what they're gonna see.
Yes.
They're gonna think that that's
Yeah.
how it is, but that's not how it is.
Right. Wow,
Set a standard. You know what? Give them goals. Set a standard. Listen. Let them see what you want them to see.
Yes.
If you were in that position, what would you want to see?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I see mom, boy. All right, dad. See, I grew up. I'll use me for example. Like, so my dad worked.
Yes.
I knew I had to work. I knew that I had to take care of my responsibilities.
Yes.
So that's the standard that was, set before me. And so, like, I wanted my son to see the same type of standard that I had, a good work ethic.
Yes.
You know, you go out there, you work honestly, get what you have to do, but maintain what your responsibility is. But you have to set a standard.
You do, and I like how you said set a standard.
Yeah.
That's one of the major things that we need to let, especially the young people know.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they don't have to settle for less.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's what happens. We get anxious. We want it. You know, this one has it, I don't, and so we give in to the first thing coming through.
Yes.
And then we realize, wait, I messed up. Now my daughter sees, you know, that part of me, and I, you know, you can always go back and change that. You can always, just because you made a mistake, it doesn't mean that you always have to remain there.
That's right.
But realizing, get to a place where you're like, okay, this won't be my story. This will always be the story that I have. Be willing to write that. Honestly, I really think journaling it helps me. It helps my children. Write down what you want. Be specific in your prayer request to God and who you want to be in your life. Because then you'll, as Ed said, that standard is there. I mean, but then understanding, I think there are times we need to be flexible. If he's not a TDH, and some people say, what is that? If he's not tall, dark, and handsome, you just rule him out. No, he might be SMH, small, short, and whatever, right? So there are things where you can be flexible, but for the basic rule, write that what you're looking for.
Oh my God,
because that standard
point. That is
helpful.
standard.
And I thank God for you, baby.
Yes, that's so standard. Oh my God, it's great. Listen, y'all, these are great tips. You know, these are great tips. Y'all have to get this book. Let me tell you, it's great information. I'm learning something here. You know, especially being a single woman. But let's talk about how do God plays an important role in this? How do you involve God into, you mentioned about prayer. Prayer is one of the main factors of building a relationship. So how do God comes into play?
He is everything for us. He is our complete foundation.
And there was a time I wasn't involved in church.
Wow.
You know, I used to work with your dad at the hotel we used to work at before. So there was a time I wasn't involved in church. You know, I saw, oh, okay. You know, and then then I found out she went to church. We won't even go into that story. Read about it. When we did, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Let's talk about it.
No, we don't talk about that right now. But you know what though? But what was the question again?
How did when people hear
us?
Oh,
but God!
How did you?
You answer that. You answer that. You know, I'll go off track.
That is our very source. Like, we're connected to, you know, like the lights are on in here because it's connected to a source.
Wow,
this
that's
marriage
good.
is
That's
alive now only
That's
because
good.
we were connected to God.
That's good.
We talk the way we do to share that message to many. And God has blessed us with that I don't know whether it's the structure or our style, but we never veer from who God is to us.
Right.
God is our everything. As we said, He is our source. We couldn't survive this. We couldn't be here. We couldn't sit here and talk to you without knowing for assurance that if it had not been for the Lord on our side, we would not be sitting here 27 years later, because we had oppositions. We had people who spoke against what we were doing, being married right out of, he was coming from the military. I was coming right out of college. And, you know, we were young and in love. But, you know, we had to grow through things.
Before that, really.
We were dating in high school. So how did we make it this far? Nobody but Jesus. And you have to come, and it's not about a religion. It was, as Ed mentioned, he didn't know about God. And I think as women, or even as a male, I know I had a discussion on a panel about being unequally yoked, and most people say, oh, well, he's not in church, and I'm going to marry somebody, or I'm going to marry somebody in church, and he plays a mean tambourine, but when you take him home, he don't even know how to treat you. He's doing the things that, God is not pleased.
So how did you know he was yours?
I prayed about it. I'm going to be completely honest, and I had not just my prayers, it was other people around me. I asked, what do you think? And, could you help me? Am I doing the right thing? And, my father would say some things to me, look for this sign and look for that. And baby girl, if he's doing that, then, just pray. He's on his way. And so Ed had to get a personal relationship with Christ like I did. And that's what helped our union. But we couldn't have made it
Praise God.
without God.
Praise God. Amen. Well, we thank God for the both of you. You guys are just a true example of what married people should be doing. It's just a blessing to hear that. Now, we're going to talk about your children because your children are, they're beautiful, number one.
Thank you.
And, they see mom and dad. And they see them doing all of this. What is so important for you to instill in your children, for them to see, especially, like I said, going into relationships? What do you want them to see when they go into their own relationships?
I think one thing that we want them to see is the fact that in our house it's an open door policy. You got a problem, we'll sit and we'll talk about it. I wasn't, in like that. That never, I had to learn this. Listen, because there was time where, even with the children, mom was handling everything. I was working. But then when my part came home, it was a routine. But you know what? I love the fact that I have my kid listen. We have open door policy. You have any concerns, come to us. We're not going to steer you wrong. We're going to give you the right instructions. And also, even when they see us doing this, like the Chronicles, they are part of it. We make them a part of everything because then it comes, they're like, wow, you know what? Because I can have a conversation with my children, my daughter. I'm like, whoa, I never thought about it that way. All these new terms and stuff. Okay. But they're picking up on some of the things that we do, and I think that's important because I want them to see how mom and dad is. We're the same, like if in home, on camera, or at work. We're still the same people.
What's examples? Because maybe this will help someone. What examples? What questions will they ask you, one of you, when it comes down to that?
It's interesting. How can you stay married to the one person for so long? That's the biggest running question in the house. It's like, Mom, you've been married to Dad for over 25 years. How did you do it? And that's just one of the interesting questions. They do ask about dating. They do ask about, how do you remain true to who you are? And so they didn't ask like that, but they would say, Ma, you're the same. My friends love you. You're like their mother. And I would contribute that to how my mother raised us or raised me. And my father too. It was this. And I was trying to remember how he would say it. He would say, don't do as I say, but do as I do. And I think that's important. Children are so honest.
Oh my God.
Children are so brutally honest. And when they see
Tell me about it.
they see you. So Ed mentioned we try to be as real as possible. I mean, they're not. A lot of parents say they're not my friends. No, they're not. But we are honest. And so if I'm at church, and I'm talking to somebody this way, I'm most likely probably talking that way at home. I think that's where parents get it lost. They putting on a persona of being one way, and children will be like, I see you. I see you outside the home. I see you there. And so what I think our children recognize is we try to be very true to who we are. To understanding, you don't have to be and we use fake and fickle, but be true, and then they'll respect that. They'll respect that in a parent.
Yes.
No, they don't understand everything.
Right.
But they'll respect, you being true.
Yes.
So I think being that in the home, don't just say, do as I say.
Yes.
No, that's not good enough. Kids will be like, but you said, but you did.
Yes.
No, don't just say, do as I say, do as I do.
Yes.
You should be the most influential person in your child's life. They should see you, they're going to have their sports stars and all that other stuff.
Right.
But you know what? In the home, the parents, you should be the most, mom and dad, you should be the most influential person in that child's life.
Right.
Because they need to look up to you first.
That's right.
You got to set, like I said, it goes back to standard.
Yes.
You got to set a standard to like, wow, that's the standard I want to see. Dad's, he's put together, he wears his clothes the right way.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I know. That right there is going to get me from point A to point B.
Yeah, and it's so funny because I would often take my kids to school, and my oldest son, and one day I was driving him to school, and he kept looking at me, just looking at me. And then I'm driving, and I'm like, why is this kid looking at me? And I said, Carlo, is everything all right? And he goes, no. I said, well, why are you looking at me like that? He goes, well, you just look like you need to wash yourself, And so the reason why I'm saying this is because they're taking notice.
Yeah.
Yes,
they
notice.
do.
Of everything that we do.
Yeah.
And say. And so your kids are looking at you.
Yeah.
And they're saying, okay, I think that if I'm going to go into this relationship with someone, I think I want someone who's going to be worth the wait.
I think it's also we should understand that it's okay not to be okay also.
Yes.
Because I think when we tell ourselves we have to be up here all the time and we have to look this way, it's okay to not be okay, but it's how you deal with the not okayness state of your life.
Right.
And I think that's where it became where I had to be honest. And then realize, okay, Dad and Mom, we good, but we need to take this to another level as therapy would maybe be of help to us.
Right.
Understanding that's important. And I realized too, single viewers, everybody may not have a husband at home.
Yeah.
My kids were very fortunate, but I also realized I know what that's like. My mother was not raised by her mother or her father.
Wow.
But yet she prayed and asked God to give her what her heart desired. And she ended up getting married to my father, and then they had a successful marriage. But how did that come about? It's because there were people maybe that looked like myself and my husband around in her day. And that's why it's important for you to be, even as a single individual, to be strong and upright. And then if you're not, talk about how you can become better. Because no one's perfect.
You can always be better.
You can. You can always get better.
Always get better. And I think
bitter.
Listen, before we end, we just have to talk about, I saw the video, the 10-minute video on the 28-day challenge. Let me tell you, y'all got to see this. I mean, it was just amazing. I'm sitting there, I'm laughing, and I'm being inspired, I'm being in touch, with them and their children, and it was just some beautiful things they said. But what mostly I liked was the points that y'all talked about. The points were awesome.
Thank you.
And so one of the points I like what Ed said is right turn to honesty and truthfulness and being upfront. What do you mean by that?
I believe we were talking about like taking a path or sort of like driving. Matter of fact, that can coincide with one of the. I should have used that when I wrote it. But you have to have. You're going to be making turns. In life, you got to navigate through certain situations. So you got to navigate. But I'm telling you, take that right turn to truth. Listen, truth trumps everything. If you're not truthful in a relationship, you can. It's damaged from the big. It's damaged. It's like a pothole. It's damaged from the get go. And everyone that hits is gonna start tearing up everything. You have to take that right turn on truth to navigate yourself. You want to make it right so that you're on a straight and narrow path. You have to be. That's why I was using the comparison because I believe we talk about roadblocks, and so I want to make it the comparison like you're driving on a highway or wherever you're going. You control the path of where you're going.
That's it.
But it's how you get there.
That's right.
Wow.
Wow, that's good.
Wow.
That's so good. You have full control. Wow. And with
Yeah.
God on your side,
Yeah.
Total control.
easier.
Wow.
That's
true.
amazing. And I like what you have said, Angel. You said no parking at unforgiveness.
Yeah.
That will hold you up.
Oh, yeah.
Unforgiveness is a big deal.
It is a really big deal.
Yes.
And we talk about that in the book too, about trusting
we do.
after pain because of unforgiveness. That could stop you
Yes.
from getting
Yes.
to your getting on the road to your destination.
Yes.
And I think the problem with unforgiveness, we think that the person has to come back and to apologize to us. When we forgive the individual, whether or not they ever come back
Yes.
and apologize,
Yes.
that releases us so that
Yes.
we can move forward. And,
Yes.
parking at unforgiveness was an experience of mine because
Yes.
I could hold a grudge. If I felt as if you wronged me,
Yes.
I was upset about
Yes,
it. So
yes.
I was like, and then I realized I'm holding on to the grudge, and that other individual is walking on
Right.
about their merry way
Right.
and going
Right.
through life.
Right.
So releasing that. Don't park there. Don't stay there, but stay on that road. Like on the highway,
Yes.
you just cannot park on the highway.
Wow.
You have to keep moving.
Wow.
And so if we look at unforgiveness as being on the highway,
Yes.
your highway is going to get you, if you get on 95 South,
Yes.
from here, you're bound to get to Connecticut, right? But
Yes.
if you park, you're never going to get there. So
Oh,
don't
my
allow
God.
Unforgiveness
Yes,
to get
yes.
Stop you in your
That
tracks.
is,
Stagnated.
that
Right,
is
right.
so important today, and some feel as though unforgiveness is very difficult
Oh, yeah.
to let go of, but
Yeah.
how it all works is that you allow God in the mix.
Yeah.
That's how it works. That's how it works. And I love when you said there was one way to love. Unconditional love is patient, love is kind, love is respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. That's one of the first days of the book is understanding
Yes.
the power.
Yeah,
Yes.
about
The
love.
power of love.
Yes.
And remembering why.
Yes.
When you're in a relationship, and even if you're not, you
Yes.
need to understand why you love yourself.
Yes.
As an individual.
Right.
Why you appreciate you.
Yes.
Why you should appreciate you, then somebody else will.
Yes,
But
yeah.
understanding the power to love was the very first days that we discussed it
Yes.
because you have to remember why did I fall in love with Eddie? Because I remember how
Yes,
he treated me,
yes.
how he,
He's
and
TDH.
under TDH, told I can answer.
Yes.
But understanding what
Yes.
that is, sometimes we lose it in the middle
Right.
of everything else that clouds our path.
Yes.
And one thing I can say about that, like it says it in the book, we have a source.
Yes.
The source of the love is it's within you.
Yes.
And once you tap into that,
Yes.
it brings back remembrance
Right.
of, you know what, I remember.
Yes.
I remember. You may have had a bad day, but just think about the good things that happened
Yes.
between, both of you, or that, even if by yourself, like, well, I know I did this.
Yes.
before. And
Yes.
then you're like, yes.
Yes.
So if you tap into that source, man, it's just like you get energized. I remember that. You know what? We can we can do this again. Let's go. We can push on.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, there we have it. We are talking to Ed and Angel Cooper on their new book called Love is Worth the Work. Listen, it is a 30-day love challenge designed to demonstrate love and care for yourself and your spouse. Listen, they are having a release book. When is that? When is that taking place?
Well, our anniversary is
On our anniversary date,
yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
It's on our anniversary day, which is
September 20th.
September 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So join us. Go to our website. Follow us on social media, and we'll provide all of the details for
Yes.
you.
Yes.
And so
We want to pack the house. Everybody come on out.
Yes, well, y'all see me there. I will be there strong.
So the
Yes.
website, join us. Look on the website, Ed and Angel, the Cooper Chronicles. You could get all of the details there.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. Listen, this was a true honor to have my dear friends Ed and Angel Cooper on our show. Listen, I am so happy that they are here today. Listen, we have been doing this for a very long time. And today, of all days, marks that God is up to something good.
Yeah.
Up to something amazing. And when you could work with people like Ed and Angel, it says a whole lot. And we want to be able to be a part of their circle and what God is doing for the both of them. Listen, go visit their page. They're on Facebook, y'all. They're on there strong. And listen, you want to purchase this book? Go visit. Go to the book release. Love is Worth the Work on September 20th. And listen, watch our new show. It's going to be airing September 17th, Tuesday at 5 p.m. on your local public access channel, which is Cox and Verizon. And then you can watch us also Saturday at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. If you're still lounging in your clothes, you ain't going nowhere on a Saturday afternoon, watch Reflections TV. We're right there at 3 p.m. And then also the following Friday, which is 9 o'clock, is when we're going to be on statewide, which you can see the show in the state of Rhode Island. So listen, please join us. We're here to make this show all about you. This is what this show is all about, and we thank God for making it possible. Again, I'd like to thank my guests, my friends, Ed and Angel Cooper. Thank you so much
for having us.
Thank you.
You're doing an awesome job, and we thank God for you.
Thank you. Again, this is Shirley Hood on this new episode of Reflections TV, and you all have a blessed day.